Okay, we will give good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our August 27, 2025 Police Advisory Committee. I'm calling the meeting to order. For those, people don't know, so I'm going to mention it. There's people that don't know about the Zoom, so they can participate on the meetings through the Zoom if they cannot make it in person. And information on how to get into the Zoom is available and posted on the agenda on the city website. So I hope we can get some people coming in on that, okay? Thank you. Now, March, can you lead us with the Pledge of Allegiance? Okay, thank you. Martha, can we have a roll call?
Yes. Committee Member Pirueta? Committee Member Camacho?
Present.
Committee Member Miller?
Present.
Committee Member Gasca?
Present.
Committee Member Hayes? Chair De La Rosa?
Here?
And Committee Member Gilori advised that she was not attending today's meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, okay. We'll go to general public comments. We are now open for public comments on items that are not on the agenda and that are in the City of Salinas subject matter jurisdiction. Comments on consideration and this consent agenda should be held until the items are reached. Will be held until the items are reached. We generally give 2 minutes time for the speakers. We could extend it depending on the agenda, okay? So, public comments open.
Good evening. My name is Eric Peterson, and I've actually just got 2 follow-ups from what I said last month. I had advocated that police training include how to deal with people with disabilities. And in the news, the following morning, it was a big lawsuit out of Southern California regarding police and somebody with a hearing disability who's getting a bunch of money. So it would be really nice. I'm not aware of any problems here, but it would be really nice to be proactive and make sure we don't have any problems here. And the other thing is Chief Acosta referred to the police explorers. And a couple of weeks ago, I ran into Steve Sparks, a recently retired police sergeant who was a police explorer. So at least one successful graduate from that program. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more? That's it? Okay. Martha, do we have any comments on Zoom?
No comments
No
received.
comments, okay. We'll go to the consent agenda. Approval of the minutes. Are there any questions or comments from the committee members? No comments, okay. So now we are open for public comments on this item. No comments? Okay. Any comments on Zoom?
No comments via Zoom.
No comments either. Okay, can I get a motion to approve, accept the minutes from,
We approve the minutes of July 23rd, 2025?
I'll second.
we got a first motion and a second motion. So, call for a vote?
Yeah, with the motion of Committee Member Gasca and second by Committee Member Camacho, we're calling for vote. Committee Member Pirueta? Committee Member Camacho?
Yes.
Committee Member Miller?
Aye.
Committee Member Gasca,
Yes.
Committee Member Hayes, and Chair De La Rosa.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes.
Okay, thank you, Marta. Okay. Now we are moving on to presentations. We have the 2024 Salinas Police Department Annual Report. We will receive a presentation from Assistant Chief Luis Bravo.
Good afternoon, committee members. Welcome. My name, as you mentioned, my name is Luis Bravo. I am the Assistant Police Chief. Chief Acosta is away in training this week, so I will be doing the presentation for you all today. So today's presentation is going to be a little condensed version of our 2024 annual report. This was put out several months ago with all the information, all the projects, all the stats that the police department acquires during the years. As I mentioned, this is just a condensed version. A full version of our 2024 police report or annual report is on our website, along with all the previous years. So if you want to inquire on anything else, you could go into it and view all the other reports to include this one. All right. So a little brief timeline of 2024. At the beginning of 2024, interim Chief John Murray was promoted to Assistant Chief and took on the role of an interim Assistant Police Chief. Chief Acosta came on board with us back in December of 2024. At the time, I was a commander assigned to the administration division. I was promoted or assigned as the acting assistant police chief once Chief Acosta arrived in December. I got promoted in July 5th to the permanent position of assistant chief, and I am here. So that's just a quick brief of the timeline. So this is our organizational chart of the entire police department. On top, if you notice, is the chief of police. Just below is myself, the assistant chief, and 7 commanders. And if you look at under the commander tabs, you can see each commander wears many different hats. They're assigned to different positions within the police department, but they wear different hats. We have 4 commanders currently assigned specifically to patrol division. Many of those commanders have collateral duties, such as in charge of the K-9 unit, traffic enforcement, homeless outreach team, FTO, the field training program, and special operations. We have 1 commander assigned to investigations who deals with all our detectives, all the homicides, all the investigation projects. He's also in charge of the victim services crime lab, to include the evidence department. We have an additional commander assigned to specifically the Violence Suppression Task Force. Now, we'll go in more into detail as far as the roles, but he's in charge of the SWAT team and the asset forfeiture. Lastly, one of our additional commander is, and that's the position I previously held, is the administration commander, and he pretty much handles all the administrative duties, is in charge of records, stats and citations, personnel and training, that's our hiring, he's in charge of all the hiring, and our hostage negotiation team. To the right, you see that our police service administrator is our very own Tanya Erickson, who's sitting here with Martha, and she has numerous assignments or duties. One of them is our finance. She handles all the finance related just to the police department. She's also in charge of all the technical maintenance services within the police department, our building, and also administrates the fleet, or our police cars, or our detective vehicles, pretty much everything that the police department, motorcycles to include that. Also, she's in charge of the community outreach team and the youth services, and that includes our police cadet program. So that's just a brief picture of our leadership in 2024. Obviously, it's going to be a little different for next year with promotions. But you have acting chief, at the time, John Murray, Chief Acosta, myself, and all the commanders. We recently promoted another commander, several sergeants, so you'll see a different, for next year, you'll see different pictures up there. Quick glance. Last year in 2024, we had approximately 132,147 calls for service, a total of 2,115 arrests. The average response time for officers for priority 1 calls was approximately 3 or 4 minutes less. That's the time from where dispatches our officers to respond to a service call and the time they arrive on scene. So as you notice, 95%, that's pretty good for the size of our city, for as far as response times. It's 86.93% for priority 1 and 2 calls. And let me just specify what priority 1 calls are. Calls where, for example, a shooting or an assault with a deadly weapon, a call that is going to, it's an emergency call that someone is in danger or is fear or will sustain any great bodily injury. So those are our 1 priority calls. Last year, we had a significant decrease in homicides, a decrease of 45%, almost a 50% of decrease in homicides. We were at approximately 139 sworn officers, and those are officers readily available. Obviously, we're going to have officers that have been hurt on duty, and they're going through the process of recovery and coming back to work. Moving on. If you could help me there, Martha, it's not working. So staffing by the numbers. So Salinas is approximately 23.45 square miles. According to the 2024 census, we have a population of 164 roughly. At that time in 2024, we had 128 sworn, 55 authorized professional staff. That's our non-sworn personnel. 100 and sworn, we're authorized 161 officers. At the time, we had 11 recruits in the academy. And we have 10 positions to hire at the time, 18 for police officers. And total sworn at the time was 139. So a little bit on diversity. So if you look at the circles there, or the pies, the majority of our officers are Hispanic. Language, and this is very interesting because the chief has mentioned it numerous times. We have approximately 69 Spanish-speaking officers, which is pretty good. Half of the department is Spanish-speaking. Education level, just let me go back to that. I began my career here with the Salinas Police Department back in 2000. And I could tell you that back in 2000, we had a handful, maybe 5 or 6 Spanish-speaking officers, and I was one of them. So if you 25 years forward, you'll see half of the department is Spanish-speaking now. So they'll be able to relate with our Spanish-speaking community out there. Education level, as you can see, some college, some bachelor's degrees, associate's degrees, and 9 master's degrees. And these numbers will change next year. I know for a fact that several of our officers, to include professional staff, have gone to school to further their education. And what's significant is that we had an increase above 18.75 of hiring female officers. So that's a great thing for us to be hiring more females in our sworn staff. So calls for service. So we had approximately 132,000 calls for service. Priority one response efficiency was, as mentioned, at 93%. 95% of those were officers responded. They arrived 4 minutes or less. We made approximately 876 felony arrests, 1,239 misdemeanor arrests. Priority 1 and 2 calls response for service was approximately 86.93, and that's including priority 2 calls. The difference between priority 1 and priority 2 calls is that priority 2 calls are high priority calls that need assistance, immediate assistance, not as priority, no one's in harm, but police need to be there quickly. So we combine those 2 calls for service, and it's approximately 86.93%, so that's pretty good response time. So let's go touch base a little bit in crime stats. So if you notice, we go back to 2018 up until 2024. So as I mentioned earlier, murder homicides, back in 2018, we had approximately 19. There was a significant drop in 2019 to 8. They maintained that in 2020, and there was a slight increase in 2021. Currently, 2024, or last year, I'm sorry, we had 6 homicides. We ended up the year with 6 homicides. And as the chief mentioned many times, 1 is too many. So rapes have gone down pretty good. From 2018, we had 99. 2024, we ended up with 63. Continuing with the crime stats, arson. We had a little increase in 2024, and mainly that was one individual that was going around and lighting stuff on fire. So that's why one of the numbers in 2024 kind of went up, because there was one individual committing numerous arsons throughout the city. Vehicle thefts went down. Larcenies kind of maintained steady. We ended up with 1,809, almost 2,000. Larcenies are thefts of personal property. Aggravated assaults maintained pretty much a consistent level at 525. And when I mean aggravated assaults, I mean assaults with a deadly weapon that cause great bodily injury. Lastly, burglaries. We had a significant drop in burglaries. We ended up with 240 burglaries. Robberies maintained steady. There was a drop back in 2019, but mainly. And this is a collaboration of community involvement, technology. More people are willing to come forward with information. As you know, everybody has surveillance cameras, homes. It's common now, Ring cameras. So that's all a plus and a benefit to us to investigate crimes. But mainly, it's the hard work, the collaboration of the community, of our detectives, our officers. So our solve rate. As I mentioned in the previous slides, we had a 45% decrease. 4 out of the 6 homicides we had last year were solved. The other 2 are still pending. And that doesn't mean that we just not continue to investigating those unsolved homicides. We have several detectives assigned to cold cases, which include homicides, and they're working hard daily to get tips. People all the time come forward with information, and they work hard to solve those homicides. Last year, in fact, we put out press releases, we did solve several cold case homicides. So it's nothing that we stop investigating, we continue to investigate and solve all of them. K-9 deployments. So last year we had approximately 99 deployments. Due to the deployments, we had 18 contraband seizures, 11 assists to other agencies. Many of the South County agencies don't have K-9s. So us being the biggest department in the county, usually other agencies reach out for assistance We provide assistance, and it goes both ways. So 9 of those resulted in narcotic seizures, and 9 of those in firearm seizures. A little bit on the canine updates. We currently have 8, at the time of 2024, we had 8 canines, including 1 detection canine and 1 apprehension canine for the Violence Suppression Task Force. 80% of them assisted patrol and special units. And what I mean special units is whenever detectives have a search warrant, they'll assist in that, or other agencies. We also, as you can see in the in the National Night Out, the canines, we also take them out to community events. In 2024, and this is to go down in history, in 2024, we welcomed our first female canine handler for Salinas PD, the first female. So we are very proud of her. We're happy that she's the first female canine, so she's been doing a good job. Canine Oakley, you guys probably seen him in social media in the last 5 years or so. He recently retired in 2024. He served the department from 2018 to 2024, and that's Oakley on the bottom. And his handler was now Sergeant Zags Dunnigan. Canine Bolt also retired in 2024. His partner was now Sergeant Anthony Garcia. He was recently promoted last year, or I believe this year. And both canines are retired and live with their handlers within their families. Investigations. So investigations, they investigated approximately 395 assigned cases. 371 of those were cleared, either with arrest or forwarded to the district attorney for their review for prosecution. As I mentioned, 6 homicides, 4 of those were cleared or solved. And additional cases, just a brief example, we had 187 sexual assault cases assigned to the detectives and 1 cold case solved. So we also have several detectives are assigned to internet crimes. We also have officers with investigative experience who also are part of this crime or this task force within the department as a collateral duty. And what ICAC does is they investigate internet crimes, and that involves maybe suspects or individuals in the dark web passing out or distributing minor or crimes involving children. They've been doing a good job. They collaborate with other cities within the county to include other departments up in Silicon Valley, like San Jose PD. They usually conduct operations. As a result of those operations, we had 13 arrests last year, 3 warrant requests, and 5 outside agency assists. Our Violence Suppression Task Force. So our Violence Suppression Task Force is a combination of gang suppression and narcotic suppression. So it's combined duty for them. Their stats are different. They different in a way that they have their own statistics. They had 71 felony arrests, 8 misdemeanor arrests, and for the year they ended up with confiscating or 194 firearms. They issued approximately 21 citations, and they deployed the drone approximately 358 times. It is staffed by 6 officers, 2 sergeants, a commander, and like I mentioned, their focus is to gang enforcement and narcotics enforcement. So, digital and desk reports. So, digital reports are online reports, and those online reports, we encourage the public to report not crimes, but usually it's people report for insurance purposes, as an example. We do follow up with those reports. They, as you notice in 23, we had approximately 34.8 increase of customers at the front desk at the police department. Last year, we had a decrease of 35% of people reporting reports at the front desk, approximately 14,000. Wait time at the police department is usually about 5 minutes, so that's pretty quick. But we encourage, as I mentioned, for people to do their online reports. Those reports are assigned, they're looked at. If there's any additional follow-up, they will contact the reporting party and provide any service, additional supplement or service that they need, depending on what they're reporting. Property evidence. So last year we booked approximately 22,000, almost 23,000 pieces of evidence in 2024. As far as intake, when it comes to currency, firearms, and narcotics, is approximately 944 firearms plus narcotics. And as you know, the numbers there, evidence, it's a very important job. A commander oversees the evidence. When it comes down to chain of command, the chain of custody, it's all important because you got to maintain that in order to have a successful prosecution when officers go to court or detectives go to court. The whole, the judicial process in the court system. So evidence is very important. So this is just a little overview of the operation budget for the police department. In 2024, we had a 0.7 increase of the budget. A decrease, a 2.3 decrease within the city, but as far as the police fund, it's 0.7. And Tanya is the expert when it comes to numbers, so she would be happy to answer any questions when it comes to budget-wise. So in 2024, we had 9 retirements at the end of the year. We had 11 cadets in 2023. In 2024, we ended with 22 cadets. We're slowly but surely expanding our cadet program. Tanya, 23? 35. Yeah, so 35. So Chief has mentioned this. We have more cadets than other police agencies have officers. So that just tells you how successful this cadet program is going. So we're very proud of our cadet program. As Mr. Peterson mentioned, we've had success stories. A sergeant that recently retired, he started as a cadet. And we have several officers that started as a cadet and now are officers. So it's a great program to be in with the youth. So Tanya is also in charge of Salinas Police Outreach Team. We attended in 2023, we attended 22 events, used 11 of those cadets. In 2024, we attended 102 events. And when I mean events, it's the air show, the National Night Out. We also go out of the city to the Laguna Seca, wherever we need it. We're happy to go. And this gives the cadets not only but community hours, so they get experience to be out there doing traffic control, many other projects. So we are very proud of that. So we had our first annual cadet recognition ceremony back in March 7th. We recognized many of the cadets, their accomplishments. Many of them are leaving the college. They have maxed out on their age. And that is why we are currently recruiting more cadets to get them more into the program. But we had our first annual, and we will continue to have every year to have our annual recognition to recognize these cadets and the great work they're doing out in the community. Those are just a few pictures of our officers, the cadets, going out there, interacting with the community, the schools, special events. That one was the give a backpack to students at schools. So as I mentioned, it's a great program for our youth. Keep them busy, keep them, teach them life values. It's a great program. So that concludes the presentation for the annual report. As I mentioned earlier, this is just a condensed version. These are the highlights of the annual report. If you want more further details, you could log into our website. The annual report is there to include past reports. So, any questions? I can hopefully
Thank
answer
you.
for you.
Thank you for your report. It's a great report. So, do we have any committee member questions on?
I have a question, just on the education of police officers. What is the education requirement, if there is any?
There is a high school diploma for officers, yes. But we encourage them. Many, like I said, many that we hire don't have any, just a high school diploma. Some of them come on straight out of the military. And that is the reason why many of our officers are going back to school. I was one of them. 2 years ago, I went back to get my master's degree while I was working and raising a family. So many of these officers, not only are they working, raising a family, but also going back to school. So it's a very, it's tough, but we encourage our officers, our staff, professional staff to go back to and get their education.
Thank you.
Priority calls, 1 and 2, and 4. Do you have anything in writing that we can study so that residents ask us questions? I do that all the time. I normally don't need a microphone. I speak very loud. Anyway, yeah, the priority 1, priority 2, and priority 3. Is there something that you have that you could provide us that we can learn so we know how to address that with the residents? Because they don't know, sometimes to them it's a matter of life and death. And it might not be, it might be. Could you give us like a rundown of what those, how they're prioritized, those calls?
Yeah, we
What
don't have
makes them a
any-
number 1? What makes them a number 2?
Yeah. So as I mentioned when we brought up the slide, priority 1 calls are calls that that someone's in danger. I would say someone's in need of assistance, whether they're getting assaulted, and that could be shootings, stabbings, in progress, and these are in progress calls, right? If we get a shooting, that's a priority 1 call. If we get a homicide, that's a priority 1 call. Stabbing, someone who's in danger, who's there great bodily harm or death. That's a priority 1 call. Priority 2 call may be, it just depends on the type of calls. So a priority 2 call may be someone's in danger, but not as a shooting or anything like that.
Not life
Another
threatening.
example would be domestic abuse, violence. Husband, wife, husband's beating on a wife, wife's beating on a husband. Currently, that's a priority 2 call. Just depending on, if there's weapons involved, then that would upgrade the call. So that's the difference between those calls. But just think of priority 1 calls, homicides, shootings, stabbings, someone's the possibility of someone causing death. Those are priority 1 calls.
Now, the response time, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, that seems awfully fast. Is that from when they place the call and you actually go to the house? Or is that when they place the call and somebody responds or gives them an answer? How?
Yes.
3, I've called many times and nobody's ever arrived, probably within at least half an hour.
Yeah, so
Maybe
as I mentioned,
longer.
those are priority 1 calls and 2. That's the percentage of.
Okay,
of
so those are the
4
priority.
minutes or less, yes.
How do you get there so fast?
Well,
The siren?
well, someone's in danger and, someone's a great bodily injury, so that's why they're called priority 1 calls. So we're trying to get their life-saving, so that's why the 4 minutes or less is our stats. So you asked about the times. So from the time that the dispatcher tells the officer to respond, that's when the time starts.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
okay.
So the time ends once the officer arrives on scene.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, I have another question. I've been asked many times when they do place a call, why are they asked to press charges? A lot of them feel that they're being put on the spot because I don't know if I think the police report is available if the suspect or the suspicious activity occurred. They can go pick up the report, and if they want to press charges, that person can find out where those people live or who reported them. Why do we ask the residents about
So-
pressing charges?
So we can't, by law, we can't arrest on misdemeanors not committed in our presence. So that's why we ask, would you like to press charges? And what I mean by like to press charges is like if shoplifting, for example. Many retailers that's why the officers ask, do you want to press charges? Because it's a misdemeanor committed not in our presence. If it was in our presence, then we don't need to be asking if we press charges. So technically, the retailer, for example, is pressing the charges against that person for retail theft. So that's why they ask.
Doesn't the district attorney do that follow-up instead of having the people do the follow-up and
Well,
pressing the charges? Or, I mean, if it's a
The district attorney
crime.
is going to take the case only if the victim seeks to press prosecution. So if they don't wish to press prosecution, then the report never goes to the district attorney's office.
Okay, all right. I think that's it for me. Thank you. It was a great presentation.
You're welcome.
Lots of good information.
Yes, thank you for your presentation. I just have a couple questions. It says, I think, 132,147 calls for service. Is there data that you're able to share on how many of those calls for service were priority 1 or even priority 1 and 2?
Those data would go through our county communication center. We don't, we have them? Okay, yeah. Tanya says we do have them.
It's a very small subset. Okay, so let's remember, not all the calls.
Yeah.
Okay, I had an inkling, but I wasn't certain, so I just wanted to ask on that. And then my second one is Browser still with the department? He was
He
the
is.
canine? Okay, I
Yeah.
didn't see
He's
deployment.
assigned to our detective division. So he's the one who's part of the ICAC, Internet Crimes Against Children. And his duties are he seeks media, phones, SD cards, so all electronics. He's specifically trained to detect those.
Yeah, I remember when the department got him and was training him, and I was so impressed that
Yes.
they could do those things. So I just wanted to see if he was still with you.
Yeah, he's a cute little fellow.
He is. Thank you.
Thank you again for a wonderful presentation. On the annual report, you mentioned it's online. I did log online, and there's the interactive report. I noticed that in previous years, I want to say it stopped, maybe up to 2021, there was a downloadable link. Is there an option to have those downloaded?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, if you go in there, you could download it and print it.
okay. I tried the share, and it wouldn't give me that option, so there's a direct, link on
Yes.
there. Oh, perfect, thank you. On the commanders, are they assigned to different areas of town, not just to different tasks?
That's a good question you ask. If you go into our website also, each commander, just the commanders that are assigned to patrol, they're assigned different areas. So we have 4. So one is assigned to the north end of Salinas, east end, south, and central. So if you go into our website, their contact information is there, their name. Any issues, we encourage any issues, contact the commander, and they could work out or deal with the issue that specifically in their area.
That's good.
So-
That's good to know, especially if you're planning a community meeting or something of that sort.
And we
neighborhood.
encourage, yes, to reach out to those commanders in that specific area, and they're in charge of that area.
Of the commanders, I saw only one woman, which is great. What is it? Internal promotion to become a commander? Can someone move from another department, from another city as a commander, or is that?
It's internal. So yes, it's only within the department. We have several female sergeants. We hope in the future they would like to promote. We encourage them. We provide them with the education, the training, and it's always, I suppose, our main goal is to have, as you notice, the increasing women in police in the force. So yes, we encourage promotions. As I mentioned, we do have female sergeants.
Great, thank you. On the priority 1 and 2s, you mentioned the response time. Is there an average response time for all calls? That's what metric it's used, or I'm assuming since you time it from the moment it's dispatched, is there an average response time that can be reported?
No, we don't. We mainly prioritize the 1 and 2 calls, just so that, because those are more of the priority calls.
Right.
Those are the emergency that the officer, victim needs help immediately because there's great bodily injury or death. So that's why we post those on the annual report only.
I was thinking about that because, Ms. Erickson mentioned it's a small subset. So the expectation from the community is in large part those other calls.
Yes.
So what is the average expectation for a response time would be
Yes.
what, we get out in
And
our
it varies
community.
because, for example, if we get a shooting or a homicide, all of our officers, they're going to be in that, right? So all non-priority calls will have to pen until we free up those officers. And as you mentioned, sometimes officers won't be able to show up until an hour or 2 hours later, if they do. It just depends on the call of volumes that we get that night and priority calls. Homicides really tied us up because it takes a lot of resources to investigate. We call out detectives. So it just varies in nature depending on what is going on in the city, if it's a busy night, especially on the weekends.
Yeah, or holidays.
Yes.
Yes. On the educational incentive, it's great that, congrats, you went back to school, you got your master's. Is there an incentive to send some of our officers who
So
may have some college?
the city offers an education incentive. I believe it's, I don't have the amount, I think it's $500 or something like that, or 1,000. Don't quote me on that. But the city does have an education incentive. And many of our officers, to include myself, took advantage of it.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely, great. And I say this because my kids want to be a police officer when they grow up. I say, not until you get your master's. So that's something that we drill.
No,
On the Spanish speaking, it's great that with 82% of the population in Salinas being Hispanic, it's critical that
Yes.
our officers speak Spanish.
yes.
On page 9, if we can go back to page 9, one of the largest, so there's the 45% decrease in homicides, and you see a trend in a lot of those crimes going down. What would you say is the largest contributor to the increase? I mean, and I ask this because we have the narrative that police is understaffed. We have a lot of vacant positions. They're underfunded, meaning that, there's a decrease in budget. So on the other side, we have a decrease in crime and solve rates are high. So what would be the balance? What would be the response to the community? Where is the happy medium?
So as mentioned earlier, it just varies because technology is advancing. As I mentioned, everybody has these. It just takes a minute of recording and sending it. And we've solved a lot of crimes, when people send us videos. Nowadays, everybody mostly has surveillance cameras at home, Ring cameras. We have license plate technology is a big part of our police department. Former Chief Felice was big on technology. This chief is also we're on the same track as far as technology. Drones, drones are very effective. the collaboration, I think being transparent, being more attached to the community. I could tell you, I was a detective back in 2015 when we had 40 homicides that year. And I see the difference when I was a detective. More and more people are coming forward with information. Back then, we couldn't get anyone to witness, even though they witnessed the crime, they wouldn't come forward. Whether it's fear of retaliation or they didn't trust the police, I think we have come a long way from back then. We've made great strides in reaching out, bridging that gap between the police department and the community. So we've been very successful, especially when it comes to homicides. I mean, that's incredible. From 2015, 40 homicides to last year, what we ended up with.
Yeah.
Currently, we have 2, knock on wood. But as I mentioned, 1 is too many. But it just, combination of everything. Combination, the hard work of our men and women at the police department.
And I can
non-sworn,
say,
yes.
trust definitely is a shifting factor in our community, and I can see the collaboration and just the openness in communication. So then my question would be, of the unsolved cases, is there a trend or something that is it a skill set that we're missing? Is it an operational thing that we're not checking off? Is it a technology barrier? What is it that's keeping some of those cases unsolved?
Mainly information, information. It's just like DNA back in the day when we didn't have DNA. Once DNA was introduced, all of a sudden all these cold cases were solved, right? So it just depends on, as I mentioned, last year we did solve some cold cases, and that was from information that we received. Whether it be anonymous tip line, so-and-so committed this homicide, this is the information I have. So yeah, it's based on information. And obviously, technology.
Thank you. On the online reporting, there's a wait time for calls. Is there an average response time for online reporting for those reports that we encourage the community, whether it's, and I say this, I had to go onto the website to report a crime, but there was something on there that said, if you know the suspect,
Yes.
you have to call it in.
Yes.
And so I was curious, if I didn't know the suspect, how long would it have taken for an officer to reach back out to me?
So, when we do online reports, it's usually people do online reports just to memorize the incident, whether it's, for example, my car got hit. I just want it documented for insurance purposes, stuff like. But if there's any suspect information, we don't encourage people to do an online reports because that's going to take an officer to take the details of the report so he could follow up on the case, whether there's enough there to follow up with. So that's why we encourage people, if there's suspect information, we'd rather have you call the non-emergency. If it's an emergency, 911.
Yeah, that was a great learning experience for me,
Yes.
and I'm
we've
glad
had-
that it was
yeah,
on there.
And like I said, we've had people file reports knowing that there's suspect information, and we reach out. No, you have to call a non-emergency for an officer to respond, to take that report.
Right. One last question, I promise. What is the average retirement age of an officer?
Wow, it varies. Our retirement system is at age 50. So some officers go past that. I'm past that, so I can retire anytime. But it just depends. Some officers have left the department to explore other careers. Some officers leave right at 50 years old and get another job in the private sector. So it just depends.
We have,
The trend's actually
Younger.
showing that
okay.
longer, yes.
Do we have an average age for our officers, patrol officers, or the department in general?
Yes, we do. They have to be 21 years of age by the time they graduate from the police academy.
Okay.
So 21 is the magic number.
and I'm sorry, I know I said one last question, but no, I have another one. On the crimes, the internet crimes, I forget, ICAC, is there a way to do some outreach specifically tailored to children, or is there already outreach tailored to children as far as, you know, this is what you as a 8, 9, 10, 11-year-old should watch out for?
Maybe Tanya could answer that question.
So I would say that right now the ICAC task force and members will give presentations as requested, and they'll share information. It is on our radar for the Salinas Police Outreach Team to start doing more ICAC-centric education, both to youth and also to the parents of what they can do. It's been a capacity issue for us, which many of those things are, but I do want to let you know it is on our radar. We've had a lot of discussions with our ICAC leadership, with the Salinas Valley ICAC Task Force, which is actually the lead in our region, about what we can do to make sure that we're being more proactive and not as reactive in that topic. There's a lot of opportunity for expansion, and I suspect you'll be seeing some additional activity in the coming year or so.
Right, thank you. It's good to hear. Thank you again for the report.
You're welcome.
And wonderful report, thank you very much. Just a couple questions, and I promise I'll keep it to a couple of questions. Will you bring sleeping bags? Canine, how many canines are there in the unit?
Currently have 8.
8?
Yes.
And then what's the cost per canine? Like to acquire them?
It's
I know the
about
upkeep is more.
approximately around 12,000, roughly.
And have any of those canines ever been donated by an individual in the community or?
No, the city purchases, we purchase the canines, yes.
And then the officer that is partnered up with a canine, the maintenance of the canine that they're in charge of, is that part of the budget?
So we give, we give our canine handlers incentives for maintenance and care. So, yeah, they get an incentive for the maintenance of the canine itself. Veterinary costs and everything, the city covers it.
Just an observation on the online reporting and as you come into the police department. And I know just because of when I came in to talk to Martha, you know, as I sat there waiting in the chairs there, it was community members that came in that did not speak the language. Obviously, you know, we're pointed to the machine to do the checking in part, and that was very intimidating to them. You know, I could hear what they were coming in for, but they pretty much turned around and walked out because they couldn't handle the machine. Is there, and I know there was some staff members behind the, you know, in the office there. Is there any way for better customer service for individuals that are not computer savvy, you know, are not checking in? And I see this not only at the police department, but at even my own eye doctor appointment, right, office. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, there's 15 personnel there, but yet they're pointing you to go sign in.
Yeah.
And some of those people are elderly, some of them, I mean, you can tell they're just stressed out to even do that.
I understand. I mean, and like myself, I'm not savvy with, you know, technology savvy, but we'll look into that as far as, you know, helping them have a smooth, you know, process in the lobby.
Yeah, great, thank you. That's it for me.
I have one question, a couple of them. Okay, your department, according to your reports, did great on the homicide part. Maybe all of you got together, thinking heads, and came up with a plan. What are you doing as far as vehicle thefts? Any plans on how to
As far as vehicle thefts?
resolving? Yes.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's one of those, you know, crimes that it's a property crime, and we have made arrests when it comes to vehicle thefts. We've recovered many of the vehicles. Sometimes, you know, people steal those vehicles to commit other crimes, such examples, shootings, homicides, and they'll abandon the vehicles, and that's when we come in. Whether a citizen calls in a suspicious vehicle or an officer's driving by, their license plate readers goes off. It announces tells the officer that that's a stolen vehicle. So we do make arrests when it comes to stolen vehicles. It's just one of those those property crimes that we do have officers involved in. No, it's fine.
So I do want to say, in 2023, we were awarded a $3.6 million grant from the state to focus on organized retail theft and also motor vehicle theft. So it has taken us a while to lift that program. It's now fully staffed. We have assigned officers. Up to date, we haven't been able to focus as much on the motor vehicle theft. That is something that you will see us, due to that grant funding, start to have increased focus on motor vehicle theft in the coming year. So as Assistant Chief Bravo said, there is a lot of stuff that already happens from patrol and investigations, but we were very lucky to be one of the agencies who received some significant state funding, and part of that will be focused on motor vehicle thefts. The last couple of years, we've spent a lot of time investing in the technology, the license plate readers, all of those things that are helping patrol, but we're finally at a point with staffing that we can start dedicate some additional staffing resources focused on that topic.
Thank you. I have another one. I spoke with the chief. I had a meeting with him, and he explained to me about the districts, the commanders and officers per district, and he showed me a little map. And on that map, he said, if you have any questions, call your commander, and there's a phone number, okay? I tried it. Nobody answers. So,
I believe in the area command, that's in you mentioned yourself, it's in the website. Their email address is there. So it's better to email them and they will get back to you because they're not working 7 days a week. So email would be the best way to get a hold of them.
Okay, great. Okay, the last one is, okay, reports. Are you getting, is the community responding pretty well on Salinas Connect reports on any issues?
Salinas Connect, that's a city-based application. So
You don't deal with that? I mean,
we get tips, whether it be tips or crime tips, and we'll forward that to the respective division. But Salinas Connect is a city-based, that's to report, weeds overgrowing or anything like that. We have a tip line. We get tips all the time. So if you're referring to that tip line as far as the police matters, yes, we do get.
so who else handles traffic? Is it LAS or
Traffic, you mean parking enforcement?
parking on the streets or?
Yes,
they-
LAS.
LAS.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, the city contracts with that last parking company.
That's all the questions I have. Now, we go to public comments on this item.
Do you have a question, Committee Member Abirreta?
I just had one quick question, sorry. It was just if you can give me the tip line number.
I believe it's 775-4222, I believe.
Thank you.
And I can always email it to make sure we give you the right number.
Yeah, just to make sure. Don't quote me on that, but yes.
Thank you.
You didn't think I'd disappoint you. That was a good presentation. It really was. And you mentioned the female commander. I did a ride-along with her earlier in her career. My name is Eric Peterson. I just have a comment and two questions. The comment, you mentioned helping South Valley cities. I'm on good terms with the mayor of King City, and we're having a conversation some years ago, and he expressed his appreciation to Salinas Police for helping out King City Police. And even when they're not getting arrested, they need help. The question's probably a little esoteric. One is, I think Butts is, do you have a retired police working part-time? And I'm just wondering who and how many. And the other is, are you using AR-15s or were you able to get M4s or rifles?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
I couldn't hear that. You're dealing with a deaf guy.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Rifles. AR-15s or M4s, hopefully not M16s, please.
I'm sorry, we're only answering questions related to the annual report right now.
Now, well,
Thank you, sir.
okay.
And Committee Member Birrueta, the number, yes, it is 831-775-4222.
Yeah, I was right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone on Zoom that would like to ask a question or public comment regarding the annual report? Okay, seeing none, please continue. Thank you.
We continue here. Comments, any comments from the committee members? Yep.
Can you turn on your mic, please?
Age. Yeah, I'd like to know if, that number and the commanders, if you could publish business cards, I mean, that would be nice. It would be nice to have a police information card. So I would like to know if that can happen. That would be very important when you have meetings and people want to have that information in their wallet or in their car or whatever. I think that would be something good to have for the safety of the residents in case they want that. Because just like we needed the number here for the tip line, there's other numbers that are important as well. And the other thing is, I didn't hear anything about tickets or how many tickets are given during the year, how much money we make off of that. We should be making tons of money.
I'm sorry, is this regarding to the annual report?
Yeah, to the
Okay.
report.
Thank you.
Tickets of cars speeding and all that, traffic information. I'm sure the police has that information and how much revenue we're getting from that. That would be great to have. The other thing is cameras. I know that school buses, when you have the stop sign that's flashing, some counties or some states have cameras in their buses.
Okay, thank you, but that's not on the annual report, and right now we're just topics
Just-
regarding the annual report.
Okay, all right.
Thank
well,
you.
Yeah, I just like to see if, we could ever look into that. And my other comment is, I'd like to know, and I'm sure everybody, I've been told that my district,
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Right now, we're going to go to the chief's report, and then
Oh.
after that, when you go to the committee member reports, that's when you can.
oh, okay, I thought this was the
Thank
final.
you.
Sorry about
No,
that.
thank you.
Okay, sorry about that,
It's
Chief.
all right, no worries. Ready? All right. All right, we'll jump in right into the chief's report.
Okay, good, thank you.
All right, so I know the last meeting, you all, committee members had questions, and those were provided to you, the answers to those questions. Martha emailed you all on, I believe, August 4th, also to a link to all the past presentations. If you had any specific presentation that you wanted to see, there was a link provided to those presentations. And those were the answers to the questions were emailed to you back in August 4th. Next on the chief's report, we would like to announce that on August 12th, the City Council approved 2 new police department civilian positions. These are non-sworn positions. One was for a recruitment coordinator, and the other one for a communication specialist, pretty much a PIO. Both we're happy to. We're going to be posting soon for those positions. The recruitment coordinator is going to be an addition to our recruitment personnel, and they will assist with recruitment, and that involves not just sworn, but non-sworn. The communication specialist, Back in the day, we used to have one full-time. As I mentioned, this position is coming back. We got it approved. And their task is going to be to handle all our social media, provide information, whether it's critical incident, police activity, Facebook, all social media. So we're very happy and thankful that the City Council approved these positions for it. Next, yesterday, I attended City Council meeting. City Council approved the addition of purchasing 10 more Axon fleet camera systems that will be installed into our brand-new police vehicles, and 20 additional Axon evidence licenses. And what that is just Axon also, the Axon company handles all our digital evidence when it comes to video footage and such forth. So we need a license for that. So we're grateful that the City Council approved these purchases. Next, regarding grants, we recently received a tentative approval to receive 2 office or OTS, Office of Traffic Safety grants that will start tentatively October 1st of this year and will end September 30th of next year. We anticipate that we will go to council possibly September 23rd to get approval to receive these grants. And these are grants to pay for specific selective traffic enforcement, whether it be vehicle, bicycle enforcement, pedestrian enforcement, and such for DUIs and stuff like that. Last but not least, we want to thank those who were present for a National Night Out that was held at the beginning of this month. It was a great event that was held at the sports complex. We estimated approximately 2,000 people attended that community event. It was a great effort from Tanya's team, collaborative effort with the library and community service department, and the fire department, and all the other vendors that assisted and put their booths out there for display. So it was a great event. We had fun, chilled, all the kids had fun. So it was a great community engagement for our staff, our police officers, our professional staffs to engage with the community. Mark your calendars. It'll be next year, August 1st. It's the first Tuesday of August 1st of 2026. So that concludes the chief's report.
Okay, committee, do we have any questions on the chief's report? Oh, sorry.
I have a question. You mentioned grants. Do you have a grant prospector or a writer on staff? Or anybody that kind of
Tanya, I'll
seeks
leave that to the
out?
professional.
Currently, we apply for all of our grants in-house. We actually just hired a new management analyst, Vicky Rahman, who started 2 weeks ago. And so she will take primaries on most of our grants, the majority of our grants. I believe the city is also looking to enter into a contract with a grant writing company to help citywide, of which the police department may be able to take advantage of that. But often the police grants that we apply for are a little bit different. There's a level of data in there, so we're certainly happy to leverage that resource. But we do that in-house as part of my team.
Thank you.
Great, thanks.
Anybody else have a question?
No, I was just glad to hear about the camera systems that they're going to be installing in the cars. I think those are very much needed. So thank you for that. I'm sure there's a lot of other things that you're going to need, so the grants are going to come in handy. Hopefully you'll get a good writer so you can get all the grants, because without the police, we're a wild, wild west town.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you. Oh, one last thing. I'm currently working on a project where there's a lot of homeless in the creek, on Gavilan Creek. And I called the chief yesterday and found out that he was out of town or in training. But we need help in getting them out of the creek because they're damaging Mother Nature's gift to us.
Ms. Hayes?
Yes.
Questions, questions?
Oh, questions, I'm
It's
all
questions.
lost today. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I thought it was, see, I'm just
Any
confused today.
questions? No? Yeah, you have it.
You mentioned the two grants, the traffic grants. Are any of those, would they be fitting, or would they be able to use to look at how we control these burnout sessions? I don't know if that's the correct terminology, but where they're like, gathering in a public parking lot. And it's not, 10, 15 cars, it's hundreds at times. I know, because I've been stuck in it. Is any of that looked at with any of these grants or potential grants that could help combat that?
So I'll let Assistant Chief Bravo talk about the enforcement activities related to sideshows. But these grants in particular, there's two of them. One is a selective traffic enforcement grant in which the OTS has very specific things that we can use it on: distracted driving, DUI checkpoints, pedestrian and bicycle safety. That grant exclusively funds officer overtime, so we can actually have those motor officers out on the streets doing traffic enforcement. It's with our staffing levels, this is critical to us maintaining the level of enforcement we can. That's the first one. The second one is a pedestrian and bicycle safety grant. We actually subcontract 100% of that grant to Ecology Action, who does community work on the topic of pedestrian and bicycle safety. The biggest component to that is they do pedestrian safety in second grade classrooms in the city of Salinas. They do bicycle education for fifth grade classrooms. They also do some learn to ride workshops. They're about to do some bike repair clinics, things like that. I think the thing to know about these grants is that we apply for them almost a year before we actually get the funds. So we don't have the ability to pivot after they're awarded. So we're always looking for ideas of things that we can do, but they're pretty prescriptive in this case. But we are also always looking for other grant opportunities. So, all right, thank you, and I'll let you talk about this.
Yes, good question regarding that. We do enforce that. We actually have a task force involved the allied agencies. Whenever we get information of congregation or anything, we do those type of operations. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, now we go to comments from committee, public comments. None?
No public comments.
Okay. Okay, now, we're almost done. We'll go to committee members' reports. Will anybody have any reports? Let's start over here on the
Just-
side.
I don't have any reports.
Just what I was talking about, I've been working with with Public Works and the police department in regards to getting the homeless out of the Gavilan Creek. I didn't attend the National Night Out. We're having some personal issues at home that I can't be at any of these events right now, so that's going to take some time to get over. But, so I haven't really been active in attending any of the functions that Salinas is having. I did go to the Natividad Hospital market, so, but that's about it. Hopefully I'll get more involved as time goes on and
Thank
things
you.
get better. Thank you.
Thank you.
Again.
I know that Hartnell College has been wanting to host a Coffee with a Cop. Our director of public safety there has wanted to engage with the department. So I just wanted to put that out from my district in hopes that we can work something out. I know that the team is very busy, so just wanted to put that out there. Perfect. Thank you.
I did get a chance to attend the National Night Out, so did my children, as well as the PAL car show. And we were really pleased and happy to see all the community out there. So thank you to all the departments and all the staff really involved in making those events happen. It was a busy August so far. I do want to say a big, huge kudos to Martha for the communication. Thank you. I think just onboarding, just getting the committee to meet, the follow-up, very well appreciated. So thank you.
Thank you. And thank you to Tonya. She's my leader here.
Yes, thank you.
More?
No, I'm good, thank you.
I echo that for Martha. The onboarding was amazing and very swift and easy to go through. I do not see the email with all the, that you had sent out with some of the last questions that were asked. But,
Okay, I will follow up and
Perfect,
email it.
thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
I actually have one thing to say, just to thank you, back to the response time. I actually had an incident, my daughter and I, last night, and I called, and within 4 minutes, we had officers there, so thank you for that.
Okay, I think we are done. The meeting will be adjourned now at 6:16 PM. And we will see you next month. Thank you, everyone.